Hello, good evening. Today I am going to discuss history of social psychology. In our previous class, we discussed some of the nature and characteristic of social psychology. Today I am going to discuss some of the historical, landmark in social psychology. That means, as we know that there are some incident or events which took place in historical perspective. So right now we are using social psychology, or we are applying social psychology as a scientific discipline. So it is not one day or 1 year development. It took long duration to develop as a separate field, as a social psychology developed as a separate field. At least it has a history of around 200 years, something like 150 to 200 years. So we have to look into some of the basic events which really makes social psychology as a separate discipline. So the first important events in development of historical development of social psychology is Norman Triplett gave the concept of social facilitation. So we generally according to social facilitation principle, we try to perform better in when we are in group. So the compared to the individual, when we are into group, like suppose we are in home, we also make some practice or trial of any kind of sports or any kind of performance. We try to more comfortable and we perform as usual. But when we are in group, we try to perform better in front of others. This is a group phenomena, like it's a very important phenomenon in social psychology. So every individual prove themselves to perform better in when compared to the when they are as an individual, they are perform better when they are in the group. So it is a social facilitation. This experiment was conducted by Norman Triplett. So it is very important to understand the basic principle, like how group influence on individual. It's one of the important social influence phenomena of social influence. That is the one point. And second point is the social psychology book written by McDougall and Ross. So it is one of the important. Earlier it was no book has had been written to in the context of social psychology, though there is some articles and journals start working on that social aspect, but as specific on social psychology to write to study as a separate field, like social psychology book had been written by McDougall. The McDougall was a very famous psychologist. We will discuss later on that their work, actually what they done, McDougall and Ross. And this is very important, like social psychology is a very famous book, because in the development of social psychology, historical development of social psychology, the writing book of social psychology is very, very important. So that Kurt Lewin, another important figure, or you can say the psychologist in the social development of historical development of social psychology, is Kurt Lewin. So Kurt Lewin is basically comes under the category of Gestalt psychologist, because he studied about perception, like social perception and field perception. He talked about many concepts in social psychology. Actually, he is also considered as a modern, father of modern social psychology. So his work is considered as a very pioneer in the field of social perception and field psychology and other group dynamics. He talks about the group perception and group dynamics and the relationship between group dynamics and individual perception. So he talked about he worked on this kind of aspect. And also, moreover, very important aspect is that including Kurt Lewin and Leonard Festinger. Actually, I don't have space to write here. That's what I left the Leonard Festinger. You know that Leonard Festinger also worked on the area of cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance is the area of how attitude change took place. What is the reason how one person change attitude in positive or negative? There is a two words comes like cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance, and it's a very important concept. We will discuss in upcoming chapters when we are going to discuss attitude. So this is he also gives the scientific approach to both Kurt Lewin and Leonard Festinger gave a very scientific approach to social psychology. Even further, some other psychologists also start using experimental methods in social psychology. As we already discussed, social psychology is basically a discipline which is worked on objectivity and worked on observation. So, in the same manner, that is the reason actually the credit goes to Kurt Lewin and Leonard Festinger, who started studying on scientific approaches. Social psychology is just because of these people, psychologists, social psychology become as a scientific method or scientific endeavor. So the World War II, very important here, the World War First and World War II. So as we know that World War First and World War II gave this incident actually somewhere around motivate to study human behavior. So basically in the time of First World War and also Second World War, basically Second World War, there is a Hitler Nazism, especially Kurt Lewin. He escaped from Germany and he settled down in America, and also he worked on the group conflicts and also why the group conflict take place and what are the reasons, and also the propaganda and also group bias in international level. They started thinking about that. So Kurt Lewin, because of this, he studied the different groups and ethnicity and what are the relationship between these groups, why people behave like this kind of way when it comes to the group. So that is the reason he studied on that 20th century, and that's a very major development. Group study, Kurt Lewin's group dynamics and also group perception was one of the major development in social psychology. And when it comes to the 21st century and 21st century, there are other many important experiment took place. That is basically Solomon Asch conformity experiment, and also Milgram obedience. He conducted an experiment on obedience. Again, it is a social influence. So there are three important components of social influence. One is the social conformity and compliance and obedience. So basically this took place, conformity took place. In the proper explanation was given by Solomon Asch. So we will discuss these components in upcoming videos. So I am not going to discuss detail on that. So like even Muzaffar Sharif is also talking about the social perception. He talks about different factors of the social perception. So Muzaffar Sharif was also a famous psychologist, basically based on Turkey, and he was worked on the factors of social perceptions. What are the different factors? Why different groups and ethnicity behaves in different way? And Solomon Asch, I am not written here Asch because everyone know that Solomon Asch is the person who conducted a famous experiment on the conformity. Why people conform when they are into the majority, even though they know the real fact, but people tend to be conform. And the Milgram experiment was very famous of obedience. We will also discuss later in our classes. We will go to make separate videos on Muzaffar Sharif, Solomon, Ast and Milgram experiment, like related to social impairs. Apart from that, there are, if you want to conclude, there are some other topics like in the 21st century. If you want to speak of 21st century, there are many concepts have been developed like eyewitness testimony, and also you can say pro-social behavior and competitions, crowding. We are also talking about crowding in social psychology, and competitions and cooperation is another aspect of social psychology which have been developing. And also environmental perspective, when we are talking about applied psychology, we are also using the health. How can we apply applied social psychology principle on health, law, okay, and also we are using the personality aspect like antisocial personality, and also stress, how to cope stress, and also another kind of like psychological disorder, for example eating disorder. So what are the social context, how social context influence on the psychological disorder like eating disorder. So these are the very important modern day development. Environment concept, health concept, these are very important modern day concepts of social psychology. So these are very important to understand, to study. So just I am giving the just highlights of the historical development of the social psychology. It's very difficult to go detail because in upcoming videos we are going to discuss one by one of these elaborated manner. So that's what I'm going to stop here my explanations. And as we are already started social psychology, I already made 2 videos related to this. So please watch my playlist, and if you want to find this video is more interesting, please share and like and share, and also don't forget to subscribe so that our upcoming videos will reach you on timely basis. And also we are going to start one, already we started one WhatsApp group coaching, which including different previous year papers. We are going to discuss the previous year papers, especially for 2019 and 2020 and 2021. So these 5-year papers is going to really with explanations. We are going to discuss the paper, each and every questions with explanations. So we are also giving the link of that WhatsApp group, and that will help you to reach out our program, and you will get the benefit. So it's very economical, and you can contact with my number and details in the description box, and it will really help. And we are also running a Telegram group and WhatsApp group for those who are not able to take coaching and other steps. So they can also join our group. In our description box we are also giving the link for that. So this is all my today class. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much.